In today's video, we're going to be going over Gamma. If you don't know what Gamma is, it is a prompt to presentation or prompt to lead magnet sort of tool. And we're going to be looking through the API docs, and I'm going to be running you through this workflow on screen, and then also showing you the Airtable base setup that I have going, so we can basically just use the API and prompt to presentation essentially. Some really cool looking documents that you can use for lead magnets, for all sorts of stuff really. So you can download this template and the Airtable database from the description below. Let's get straight into it. So like I said, if you haven't heard of Gamma, what it is it basically is just a prompt to presentation software or tool. So I'll show you what it looks like now. So we have Gamma here, and you can see that if we were to create a new Gamma, we'll click generate, and we can just give it a prompt and it will generate us a presentation. So let's just see what it comes up with. So as you can see, it's generating us the document, and let's just hit generate and I'll show you what the output looks like. We're going to be using Airtable and the API later on in this video, and we're going to be creating these documents through the API instead of actually on the Gamma website. And then from there we can play around with it, see what we can come up with. I mean, I use this in loads and loads of automations. One in particular, which I'll show you later, is an outreach system. So that is just generating custom lead magnets for new leads that get sent out automatically via email. I'll show you all that in a bit, but let's see what this has come up with. So not bad at all. As you can see, it generates really, really good looking documents just from a single line prompt. So yeah, moving back into NAN, what this is doing is we're using an Airtable database, which is here, and it's really simple. All we do is pretty much exactly the same as what we did on the Gamma website a second ago. We just prompt it with one line to what we want it to generate, and then we just click generate document. So I'm gonna show you actually now. So I'm just gonna turn this on and hit generate document. So while that's generating, I'll walk you through the steps. So let's make sure everything's on here, and we'll hit generate document. So while that's generating in the background, I will give you a rundown of what's going on in this automation, this NAN workflow. So we get the record from our Airtable database. Then we have a little section, a set module here, which we give it a little bit of context about me. So as you can see here my name, my description, my LinkedIn description, my company email, and then also a meeting link. So whatever calendar you use, whether it be Calendly or cal.com or just Google Calendar, you can drop in your meeting link here, and then when these documents are getting generated, at the end of the document or wherever you want on the document, you can add a button which says book meeting or something like that. I'll show you all that in a second. and I'll show you a few examples. But after this, we're just getting it to generate us the text for the presentation. Pretty simple prompt here. It's just basically saying this is the structure that I want it to give me. So overview, problem, why now, solution, how it works, key benefits, use cases, implementation, proof and examples, and then a CTA. We've then just got a couple rules. So headline, sentences, and all that good stuff. And then in the user message, we've just got create slide text on this idea. And then this is the identity from that set node that I just showed you a second ago. Then we're basically just removing all of the new lines and quote marks and stuff that will disrupt the JSON and make the JSON that we're going to send invalid. So we're just removing all of that with this code node. And then we are actually sending the HTTP request, and I'll run you through this quickly. So the input text is the input text from the previous module. We then have a few different modes. So text mode, I have it preserve. This means that the exact text I'm giving it, it will use for the presentation. There are a few different modes we can use here, which we'll go into later, which allows Gamma to actually be more creative and come up with its own text. But for this case, I've just used the preserve text mode. Theme name, again, there's tons and tons of themes that you can use. I'm just using Oasis for now. And then a few different things, additional instructions. I've just put make the titles catchy, keep it looking professional and clean, export as PDF. Image options, a few different image options as well. I'm using AI generated images and photorealistic style, and then just the sharing options last of all. Then moving on, we've just got a simple wait loop where we're going to wait for the actual document to be generated. And then what we're doing, we are getting the document link, uploading it to our Google Drive, so we've got it saved somewhere, turning on share permissions, and then updating Airtable with the new document. So that's just a quick rundown of how this works. All you'd really have to do to get this set up for yourself is just get your API key from Gamma, and we'll grab that in a second. So while that document's still generating, it does take a little bit of time, but this is sort of the output that I've been playing around with in other systems and stuff. You can see about the lead magnets that I was on about earlier. So let's go through a few of these. I've just been sticking to this one theme at the moment, but you can see here that there is booking options, contact me, contact on LinkedIn, all that stuff. Let's go back to a couple of older ones where you can actually see the button. So here we have a button and it's got my meeting link there. So that's pretty handy for when you're generating these documents and actually sending them out. But yeah, to get your Gamma API key, you are going to need a premium plan, I believe. But all you need to do is, once you've got that, you want to head over to settings, click on API key, and then just create your API key. Come back to the N8N workflow, add a credential, and let me just double check for you before this. So it's X API key is the name, and then in the value you just want to hit paste with your API key, so that's just in there, and then you'll have your Gamma API connection set up to use within this N8N document. So I've also put together a little cheat sheet about the API, which we'll go over again in a second. But yeah, let's take a look at a few of the different themes you can use. So if we come over here, so they have tons and tons of themes that we can use, and all you'd need to do if you wanted to use any of these themes is just come back to N8N, and in this theme name section, just find the theme that you like and just type in the name there. It's as simple as that. There are a few different things with the API at the moment because it is in beta. So Gamma Pro and Ultra users get 50 generations per hour. I mean, that's pretty solid. And then, yeah, just a few different bits. I'll leave all the links in the description to this, and you can come in here and read it through. But again, I've put a cheat sheet together with just a few different things that you can copy and paste straight into your request if you wanted to change a few things here. So input text. So that is obviously what we're going to be putting on the presentation, the actual content itself, the actual copy. Here is what I was on about earlier. So you can either choose between generate, condense, or preserve. In the workflow here, I'm using preserve. That means it's keeping the text that I give it. Whereas if we were to use generate, for example, then input text would just be used as a starting point. So that's more of like you're giving it the prompt and then allowing Gamma to actually go ahead and create the content and the copy by itself. Condense will actually just summarize your input text and then just fit the content length you want. A few different things. Format, again, presentation, document, or social. Card options, completely up to you. Theme, again, tons and tons of themes that you can choose from. Play around with it. Number of cards, that is how long you want the presentation to be. Additional instructions, this is interesting. So you can add specifications to steer content, layouts, and other aspects of the output. So this works best when instructions do not conflict with other parameters, e.g. if the text mode is defined as condense and the additional instructions say preserve all the text, the output will not be able to respect these conditions conflicting requests. So again, the additional instructions section, play around with it. As you can see in this workflow, I've kept it pretty simple, straightforward, because I didn't want to mess up anything and have any conflicting scenarios. So make the titles catchy, keep the look professional and clean. So that is just the quick rundown of the Gamma API. Let's head back to Airtable and see what the document looks like, and then have a go at generating a few different ones as well. Cool, so our document has been completed and it's just popped up there. Let's have a little look at it. Pretty good so far. Seven-day journey. Transformation you can expect. Real results from real businesses. So it's giving some examples. Perfect. Lovely stuff. So in the next one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a meeting link in. So and then I'll show you the button that would come, and we'll have a go at changing the theme and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is let's just copy and paste that there. and I'm going to grab a meeting link and then put that inside of NAN. So I've just dropped my meeting link in there now. When you download this template, obviously you need to come in here and just add a few things about yourself, what niche you're in, all that stuff, just in this set about me module. I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to go back to theme. So let's just try the Vortex theme for now. So again, just come back. If you were going to change theme, just come into this create gamma HTTP request module, come down to theme name. You can see it there. And we're just going to type in Vortex. Perfect. Then all we need to do is just click on create document. Again, when you download the template, a very important thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that you're going to want to grab your webhook URL from this webhook here. Come on here, grab your webhook URL, and then just come and drop it into this webhook URL section within the automations tab on the Airtable database. Cool. So while that's running, I'm going to quickly show you a bit more of a complicated system where I've integrated this, because you're probably asking, like, why not just go to Gamma and generate the templates from Gamma instead of actually using the API, which makes complete sense. But when you start looking at building these big systems, like these outreach systems or lead magnet systems that generate tons and tons of personalized lead magnets and then send them via email to all your leads, like all automatically, that's like the power of this stuff. So this is super, super powerful, especially for the lead magnet sort of side, which I've personally been using it for the most. So this system here, what it does is it just essentially just scrapes the web for leads, enriches the leads, and then creates a document and a personalized video. We're going to touch on the videos in another video, but yeah, so it just generates documents. I'll show you the Airtable database for this one. It will probably be a bit easier to understand what's going on. So this system here is getting all our leads. As you can see, we've got thousands and thousands of leads, and generating custom documents for us to send to them straight away. So that's one use case for this. Really, really cool. You can see here that I've got the button at the end of this document that they can click, and then it takes them to a meeting link or a booking link. So yeah, the stuff you can do with the Gamma API is very, very cool, and you can attach it to way bigger systems than just this example that I'm giving you here. This is just the very basic idea of getting you started with the Gamma API, but I recommend just coming into the docs and the cheat sheet that I'll leave in the description, taking a look through and just playing around in this HTTP request module here and seeing what you get. So let's see what is going on with this Gamma that we've generated. Cool, so our document has just finished generating, so let's take a look and see what it's come up with. Pretty cool stuff. I mean, one thing I have found with the images sometimes that they can be a little bit hit and miss. So it might be worth, when you're playing around with this, just to try out the different types of images that it allows you to do through the API. You can find all that information in this section here in the API documentation. So let's quickly find it. Image options. So here, there's tons of different image options we can get. We can use AI generated, which is what I'm using. A few different ones here. So yeah, just play around with this. Again, all you do to change that is just to come back into this HTTP request, come down to image options and source, and just change AI generated to whatever you wanted. But that's probably the only downside of the Gamma API that I've found currently. So let's keep going back through this 7-day transformation again. Cool. And then now we've got a button at the end where it takes them to my booking link. Perfect. That's all good. And then we've also got a button that says email me, which is a nice addition there. So as you can see, like, there's so many things that you can do with this. Just download the templates from the description below, have a play around. Really easy to set up. It does require the Gamma Pro plan, but I think it's only like $10 a month, so it's worth to just get 1 month and just play around with it and see what you can build. But yeah, thank you very much for viewing this video. I'm going to be dropping a video soon which actually incorporates the Gamma API into a way bigger system like the one that I showed you earlier on in this video. So yeah, stay tuned for that and have a great day.